I gotta turn off that AC. It makes so much noise. So much noise, so much noise. As my chair does. My chair makes so much noise. Oh, alright. It is 6:10 p.m. Seattle. This is Eric. I'm tired, but I'm still going to make progress every day. Progress every day on my game, The God Killer. And I'm gonna do a little surge here and see if I can write a brand new enemy for my game in just this session, which is going to be about 2 hours long. So yeah, so I've got this progress every day, 16 days in a row. I've worked on this game every one of those days. I will continue to do so for as long as I can. I think even if I'm sick, I'll figure out some kind of token thing I can do. Like maybe I'll draw a tiny little mustache on a piece of artwork and then say, look, I made something, and that'll be progress on that day. I'll do that from my sick bed. I have a horrible fever. I'll still make progress every single day. This Sunday, I will make progress despite having a friendly commitment to go to. I will be off in the afternoon being drunk with friends, but I'll get up early before I go to that, and I'll make some progress before I leave. I will not have God Killer Sunday at 3 p.m. because I'll be out at a drunk picnic, but progress every day. So where I left off was working on a hand model which will correspond to a character in the game. I'm going to shelve that for now. I did make some interesting progress on getting the leap motion, this little guy right here, this little guy, getting that leap motion guy integrated into Unity. It's not part of my game, it's not like an input controller for the game, but it is part of my workflow. I'm going to use it to record an actor's hand motions and play them back, and I figured out like 75% of that task all in one 2-hour session yesterday. Felt good about that, but time is burning. I have less than 2 hours if I'm realistic about this, and me just talking about what is in the past instead of what I need to do in the future, that's not going to help me. That's not going to help me get the job done. And what I want to do today is create a brand new enemy. It's not going to look amazing because I'm using stub art. I'm not at the stage of the game where I'm refining the appearance of things too much. I just want it to be enough to suggest what things will look like later. So let me go in and bring out my new enemy, and I'll just make a copy. I'll make a copy of an existing enemy as a starting point. Let me see. To do that, I can select it, I can copy it, I can paste it. Will that work? No, it won't work. It won't work that simple. I can do Command D, duplicate. Yes, I can. Okay. Rename. Heavy. A heavy. So this guy, I want him to look like slightly different than the brawler, so that I can at least distinguish them. This model here is definitely not the final model. It's just a free asset that I got off of the Unity Asset Store, and it doesn't even fit the look of the game that I want. But it doesn't matter. It's just stub model, stub art, stub assets. So what do I need to do to make this look different? Not too much. Let me have it look different without breaking something. What if I just made it a little bit bigger? Nah, that'll make the whole thing different. Changing the the material would probably do the trick. So let's see, material. I forget which one of these is the actual thing. Okay, that looks like him. And let's see, we got. Here's the material, which is a nice UV map texture, and I'll change it for something much uglier, just so I have something that looks different. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? I had like a nice brushed metal thing in here, which would almost make sense because this character is meant to be heavy. He can't be pushed. What does that one look like? You know, I think that's probably good enough. What does that look like? Green. Okay, that's nice and distinct. I mean, that would basically do it. So let me also change his hair. I don't think the hair is that important. Why don't I just delete the hair? Yeah, whatever. I'm spending way too much time on this. It's just like a temporary thing. I just want it to be clearly identifiable as I'm playing the game as something other than this previous enemy that I'm copying from. So let's just change it all, make it green. Make it green. That should do it. That should be enough. So then, okay, so I've got my brawler and my heavy. I'll put them both out there. Here's my heavy. Okay. I might as well take this silly hand off. And I'll just play and see if the basic behavior I copied across works as expected. So the brawler already has a script attached. When I copied over the heavy from the brawler, it would have inherited, or not inherited, but it would have gotten a reference to the same script. So they should both move in the same way. They do. Brawler pushes me. I'm trying to just show the distinction. Okay, the brawler I just pushed. The heavy, on the other hand, should be unpushable. So I haven't made the change yet, but when I push the heavy, that push should fail, and the heavy should push back against me and shove me off. It's also kind of nice. I'm testing for the first time that these creatures will push the blocks. Like, okay, yeah. Yeah, this is fun. I'm getting kind of like in a tug of war, where I push blocks at the guy, and then he pushes blocks too. This is nice. I didn't write any code for the monsters to be able to push the blocks, but I wrote my previous code in such a general purpose fashion that it automatically works, and that I love. So let's unpause that, or unplay that, aka stop. The opposite of play is stop. And then I'll go and take a look at the code for brawler. Make a copy of that too. Oh, I should line this up a little better. so that it shows inside of my OBS area. That looks right. Okay. So my code for the heavy is going to be in here. Logic pieces. Where's the brawler? Where's the brawler? So make a copy of that. Make a paste of that. Rename this. Heavy. Sam ransomware. I've not heard of Sam ransomware. Tell me something about it if you want. Are you going to provide a link that I can use to install Sam ransomware? And my apologies if I happen to miss the comment when you were online. All right. So let's close. Kind of freaks me out. Somebody asked me about ransomware, and I feel like the next step is like the ransomware will be activated on my machine, and like step 1, have you heard of the ransomware that I made? Step 2, here it is. I hope people leave me alone. Okay. Oh, cool. I don't know exactly. It's just some dangerous hack. Just wonder if you knew anything about it. No, I don't know. Yeah, I've been lucky. I've not yet gotten any ransomware. I've gotten viruses before, but yeah, it does kind of scare me. Like one of my things about my defense against it is like if my machine bricks tomorrow, don't get me wrong, I'll hate it. I'll be really upset about it, but I've got everything backed up in multiple places. I would buy a new computer. I would lose a few things, and then I would just be set up in a few days, back where I was 2 days previous. So, like, I'm pretty hackable, I think, particularly with all these crappy routers people sell. But somebody can hack and destroy me, and I'll be back in action a couple days later, I think. Okay, brawler. Let's make not a brawler. Let's make a heavy. Okay, heavy. Where are you at? Where are you at? I know I just made you pieces. There it is. Okay. So now I just do some replacing. I am a engineering manager for a web team, and if I'm honest, I am an acting manager for a web team because it's not official. Just in case anybody happens to hear this from my work, I just don't want them upset at me. But before that, I wrote code for the web, and at different points in my career, I wrote code for games, back-end services, been a Java developer, C++, C, Visual Basic, Access Basic. If we go backwards, Paradox, cybersecurity stuff. No, I'm more like I end up talking to people that have security requirements for me, and then at times I'll make sure my software that I'm writing meets their requirements. Well, are you into cybersecurity? Is it part of your job or an interest? Okay, so wood fall, wood push, walk. Okay, what? Oh, I remember. I have to override public, override bool. Well, it's, I mean, if you're interested, man, there's so much work in it. Just from a career standpoint, like it's obviously a good way to make some money. So if you also have an interest in it, like it makes you fascinated, then man, the world's your oyster. I was less into like security stuff because I love building things, and that's like writing code is making things out of nothing. So that's the thing that kind of gets me going. Let's see, what's it complaining about? Oh, I've got another brawler piece here. Okay, so let's do a heavy piece. Okay, let's see if there's any more brawler references. Nope. Okay. Board loader, need to add a new type in. It is, let's see, heavy piece tag. This allows my board scanner that loads in the board to pick up the heavy piece and add the heavy piece to the logical constraint there. Let's see. What's the other thing to hook up? Change this to point to the right script. Okay. There's like a 22% chance it'll work right away. Waiting for Unity player to start up. I should move the camera north so it doesn't always start in this weird spot when the game begins. Some high CPU usage, making my frame rate drop. That usually goes away. It's a byproduct of the video streaming, I believe. Okay, so I don't have movement tied to my keys. That usually means there was an error at the beginning. So let's take a look at the console log and see what errors it popped up. And that was a lot of slowness. I feel like somebody maybe put ransomware on me. It was so slow. Okay. Tag heavy is not defined. Oh yeah, I just forgot one thing. Okay. So let's add another tag. Heavy. Okay, that identifies my game object as heavy. I think I've connected all the stuff, but what was the problem here? Find and add pieces. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think I got it. Let's start again. Hit the play button. See if my guy does what I want him to. See if I can actually move around because there's no errors at the start. That'd be my first thing. So slow. Okay. There, okay. Plane. This guy. He'll knock me. He'll push me. If I'm out of the way. Okay, now am I able to push this guy north of me? No, I can't. That's awesome. That was the main feature I wanted him to have, is he's unpushable. This is good. He's just an obstacle. Okay, so it's a new type of enemy, and I can't push him. So, unlike the first enemy that I can push, the heavy is unpushable. So what happens if I get behind the heavy and push the brawler into the heavy guy? I need them to kind of line up to do that. So come on over. No, don't go there. I'm trying to line these guys up so I can test out a case. Hard to do. I might have to go to unit tests to contrive the situation I want. Otherwise, it's just a lot of play testing to set it up, and that's not a good way to test when you've got specific cases that you want to hit. But so far, so good. So if I just get some unit tests set up that prove what I want to prove, which is that if I push the brawler against the heavy, not only does the heavy stop me from pushing him, he also stops the brawler from pushing. And that would be me finishing this enemy way ahead of schedule, because I'd given myself 2 hours, but I might only need less than 40 minutes to do it. Okay, so let's create a new unit test. Better luck with these if I create them from Unity, so I'll do that. I just remembered. Just create new C# test script, and rename it to be heavy test. Okay. Deleting some junk that's not used. I'll just copy over this other suite of tests because it seems like it'll give me a little bit of speed to just reuse that. So let's remove that. Change this to the name of the class I want. fiddle around with formatting issues that aren't important. Okay, so this little representation is like a quick way to set up a level with some ASCII text, and the little symbols actually mean something. Let's see. It's like an overhead view of a quick level that's created just for unit testing. So what I want to do is say I can push this brawler east, and it will not push this heavy east up against the wall. The little pound sign is a wall. I want the brawler to end up just to the left there, so that's the starting condition. This is the ending condition, so, or the expected condition, I should say. Player piece walks east. Expect the player to be over 1 square because she walked east, and that should be what it ends up as. So to get that to work, I gotta add a little bit of glue for this new H enemy element inside of here. So I go to my board debugger, and oh, not the test, the actual code. Okay, so let's take a look for B. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of copy and paste the same logic here, but make it for this new enemy type, which is I call heavy. We'll create a heavy piece when it sees that little ASCII symbol. And yeah, this is pretty boilerplatey. That's okay. I mean, this is only just code used for writing tests right here. I'm just going to add this in. Okay. So that's not bad. That should work. Go back to my board debugger test, and let's just add one more case here, similar to the brawler one, but for heavies. Make sure my notation is working correctly. All right, so then let's go back to Unity. And I'm going to check out my new tests. Board debugger. Checkboards. This looks wrong. Did I save everything? Save all. Heavy test. Oh, let's clean this up a little bit. Pushes brawler against heavy. Okay, let's just get rid of all these extra tests that really are just copied and over that I don't actually want here. So we just got this one new test that applies. It's applicable, it's germane, and oh yeah, then back to Unity, test runner. And then Unity, I have to wait for it to build the tests. Heavy test. Just one there. Before I do that, I'm going to run checkboards, make sure my notation's working as expected. Yeah, go ahead, run the test. Okay, notation's fine. Then I'll run the actual test that matters to me. Got the heavy. Does pushing the brawler against a heavy stop the brawler? It does. I Can't believe how well this is going. So now that I have this ability to set up test cases pretty easily, I might as well add just a few more to make sure things are working. Heavy is not pushed. I already know this is kind of true already, but it cost me very little to just write this simple test. And if later on I change something, it'll be fine. Assert. I also want to assert that when you push against a heavy, it's blocking you from actually issuing a command. So I'll say is false. And when walk returns false, it means that the command was just sort of canceled. Okay, another test I want to run. Just the same one, but let's put the heavy right next to the brawler. And I want to make sure that it serves as a kind of obstacle that will cause the brawler to be destroyed. Destroys pushed brawler against heavy. So let's tighten up that a little bit. Okay, so that should work. I'm even going to say on the first run I think it'll work. I'm giving it 93% odds of both these new tests passing without any changes. We'll see. Waiting for them to pick up here. There they are. Run them. All green, all green, all green, all green. Check marks. That's what I want. I want some check marks. Okay. So that was line 47 it complained about. Is that right? Yep. Okay. So I was expecting walk to return false. And instead it returned true. That's not what I expected. What happened is not what I expected. So that means I want to step into it. So I'm starting the debugger. The debugger's up. Let's see what's actually going on. Step into walk. Oh, this is such an unstable set of software. Ignore, close. Might as well stop you from, oh, you are stopped, okay. Save. Okay. Restart Unity. It crashed on me. I don't take it personally that Unity crashed on me. I don't think it has anything to do with me and what Unity thinks about me. I think I just got unlucky. I think I shouldn't be upset about it. Restarting. Unity is restarting, and once it regains its composure, I'm going to have the test runner run again for some tests that I want to see, some unit tests that I created for a new game enemy. I want to see the reason why one of these tests is failing. So let's start the debugger. Let's head back to Unity. Run this heavy is not pushed. If it crashes again, okay. Are you gonna crash on me? This is where it crashed last time. I'm gonna step into. No, I'm good. Okay, I expected it to return false. It did not. Okay. So it should go way down here. It's gonna be right here. Okay. Can I move to that square? I think I can. So it needs to check for pushing. So let's see what happens when I go into push. Here's where I'm attempting to push the unpushable. Okay. Now I see what's up. So I don't have any logic that says if the enemy is unpushable, I'm going to return false or anything like that. So I need to think through that. I could add a bool here and just return that back. Where's my unpushable check? Let's keep on walking through. Oh, here's an assertion. Here's an assertion. So according to my function, I should have checked before I called to see if this thing I'm trying to push is actually pushable. And it's not. I've got exceptions set up, so it should throw here. I think it's going to throw. Oh, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Okay. But I kind of even don't care what execution happens after this point, because I know my assertion failed. I know that, like, essentially when that failed, everything else here is undefined. So it's really up to me to fix the caller of push. Fix the caller of push so it will not even try to push. Okay, so let's hit play. Let's stop the debugger, and let's just fix the code. So if not pushed piece is pushable, we're done. Return false. We were blocked. Whatever command the player tried to issue is canceled. No pushing happens. That's how it goes. So I think that might be the fix that's needed. Let's go back, run the test. Come on, come on, come on, go green. Maybe, did I run it too fast? Sometimes it needs to build. Yeah, there's the spinning. That means it built late. Okay, run again. Green, green, green. I'm being too impatient. Still the same issue. So I really thought. I think I know what I did, though. I think I know. Okay, so let's set this again. Let's start the debugger. Building for debugging. It's building. Okay, it's done. Go back to the test runner. Launch the test. That's not the debugging, the breakpoint I care about. Here it is. So my push piece. Oh, I'm probably No, wait a minute. So my push piece is the brawler? I thought my push piece would be the heavy. So the piece that's walking is the player, and the piece I'm pushing is a brawler. Come on, what's the? Oh. Well, this is not a heavy. That's all. It's a brawler. Very simple mistake in the test. But I think I actually fixed a bug kind of accidentally without aid of the test so much as just stepping through the code. And that's fine too. That's helpful. So let's try running this test again. Let's try that out. Now what? Now what? Which line? 47 still? Did you update? Did I run it too quick? Did I forget to save? I'll save all. Alright, gonna run this again. As soon as these are all green, these 3 tests, that will mean I've succeeded at my task of adding a brand new enemy. There it is. Okay, and I'm just gonna run the rest of these. Okay, new enemy added. I'll play test with it a little bit. In fact, let's get some on the board. Prefabs, blocks, doors, M's, mobiles. Okay, here we are. My unpushable creatures. Mix them in with some pushable creatures. Get them all out there. Heavies. So these are brawlers. The green ones are heavies. Then I want to get them aligned on the square boundaries. So I just do a little snap to here. If I kind of move each one a little bit, it will basically line up as I like. Okay, and then, yeah, they're fine. I'm going to start this again. I'm going to go play with my creations and see what lovely things they do. God damn, the video broadcasting just seriously messes with the frame rate. Do I have any apps I can close? A markdown editor? Okay. I think that little CPU spike will pass, and then I'll have okay. Dang it. Alright. Something happened wrong. I got too cocky. Object reference not set. Let's just get back to baseline. Get back to the baseline. Let's just get rid of these guys. Heavies and brawlers, just get rid of them. I got too cocky. I'll leave one. I'll just leave one there. I feel like maybe I bit off more than I could chew or something. So whenever I start the game and the guy cannot move, that means that there was some error that happened during the initialization. And just a little while ago I had all this working, so is it me adding that heavy there, that new enemy? Is that what the issue is? Just want to get back to the baseline of things working. No, there's something else. Something more. Something that is screwed up even before I did that. Ah, how embarrassing. Deeply embarrassing. But I really just wanted to not have cascading problems distracting me. I just wanted to test out that one thing. So let's open another scene. That scene may have an issue with it, because I don't think this has anything, whatever this problem is here, I don't think it has anything to do with, no, I'm not going to save it, because I don't think it was in a good state to begin with. I don't think my new code has anything to do with the problem that I just saw. So I'm just going to go to another scene that was previously working, which already has these two guys set up in it. I'm going to test that out. And let's move the starting position of the camera over, because it's been irritating me. Alright. Save that scene. Play that scene. I'm using Night Hag. I'm using the closest thing to C++, I guess, which is C#. I guess that's debatable. Maybe C is closer to C++ than C#. But this is in Unity. Have you used C++ before? What the heck? This is such a irritating regression. I was able to move one step, and then for random reasons, it stopped allowing me to proceed. And again, I just didn't do anything that different. I didn't add much into the code, or, I mean, there's this new enemy, but the new enemy has got code that is like, should not have such a large effect. Starting to get into the basics of programming, or C++. I have written C++ code. It used to be my best language. That was about 10 years ago. It was just a C++ guy through and through. The trickiest stuff about C++ is all the class, object, inheritance, all that kind of stuff, and not just being able to use the features, but knowing like when to use them to design things. If you're starting programming, I wouldn't recommend C++ as like a first language. For one reason, its lack of automatic memory management, garbage collection. So I would recommend, I mean, it depends what you want to do, but a language that's got garbage collection or automatic memory management built into it, a language that doesn't let you directly access memory, because when you're starting out, you can make like really horrible mistakes accessing memory directly, or failing to free memory. So with all the other things you have to take on and learn when you start out, I feel like adding those to the list is not the best choice. Like, it will slow you down. And there's like such good modern languages that get you past those two hurdles pretty quickly. C#, which is in Unity if you want to make games. Pretty nice. It's a typed language. Typing is a good thing, I think, to learn starting out. Some people say, JavaScript is good. That's what I spend most of my days coding in, is JavaScript. Making my own engine. Yeah, so I did make my own engine in C++. Back in the day, like close to 20 years ago, I wrote this game called Drod. and that was like a whole engine that worked on Windows, Mac, and Linux. It was on top of SDL, which is this library that abstracts some of the video and input and things like that. I think making a game engine from scratch today is a cool thing to do if you're into engines. But it's not a way to make a game quickly. There's like this one guy, Jonathan Blow, who is like simultaneously making a game and making a game engine at the same time, or like a programming language. It's very admirable, but I kind of like wonder why he decided he wanted to do all of that at the same time. It'll take him extra years to finish his game. Anyways, let me see if I can figure out why these guys are. What stupid, obvious thing I did that's making the whole thing not start. So it'll be something in board loader. It'll be something in board loader. Board debugger, not board debugger. Oh my god, board loader. So I think. Unity is pretty cool, man. Unity's free too. That's one thing to try. And there's like some assets that have like games that are already made. So like if you go into the Unity asset store, if you find like one of these sort of like game engine type things that goes on top of Unity, like for like a platformer or some genre of game, they'll have it. That's a pretty nice way to start out, because you'll have kind of like a working game, and then you can look into like the details of how the engine works. Let's see. So let's get out of tests. Let's go over to logic, board loader. Feel something is failing in here, so I'm going to set a breakpoint in here. Start debugging. And I'm going to hit the play button. I'm going to see how far I get into the board loader before it just foo-bars on me. I feel like that block above is gonna pass, so I'm just gonna hit play to go through it. I mean, I don't think any errors will get thrown in that, but I think I was wrong. Okay, so input-output console program. So you mean like there might be a function that you call, or a batch file or something that it takes an input and then it outputs some text based on what you pass to it? Is that where you're starting at now? Yeah. Which is honestly, it's a good place to start, because you're not skipping past the basics. So yeah, I mean, that's a good place to begin at. Like it's easier to figure that to get like a hold on programming from there than it is to jump into all the things that make a modern game. So like you could go some different ways. Like you could make, I mean, this might sound like really sad, but you could make like games that are based on that console input-output. Like you could make like checkers or tic-tac-toe, that sort of thing. If you wanted to kind of get your bearing, like I suggest that to you, knowing that it's not going to be like the most appealing next step, perhaps. But like if you wanted to sort of expand upon what you know, without like bringing in everything at once, that would be one way to go. So there's things like, okay, you've got your input output, and the next thing you would need to add to that, say you were just making text-based game only, an input loop. So there's a loop that would kind of do the same thing over and over again. I'll show you. I'll show you my loop. I'm going to go over to my main loop. So an input loop. When you write your like your kind of simple console-based thing, you've already got this idea that execution begins at some place. So I've got the same thing here. There's this thing called the start event, which is kind of like analogous to like if you were in various languages, there'd be like a main function that gets called. So that this function will get called when the app starts, right? So then you want to get to the point where you're doing something in a loop that repeats. So here's my main game loop. This is the top level, and this is the structure of really just about any game. There's an input collection. You're going to have something that goes and gets input, right? So I've got some code here. It says, get me the latest input from the player, which is like pressing keys on a keyboard at this point. It could also be joystick input, mouse input, stuff like that. Then you have something which updates the game state based on the input. So there's a lot of other complicated stuff here that I don't really need to go into, but you could break it down to code that executes again and again in a loop that gets input, updates the game. So whereas before you had like an exit point at the end where you said, I'm getting the input, right? That's your input going to your console program, and sort of like you did one update to your state, you did an output. Your game is not going to exit at the end of that output. It's going to loop back around to the beginning, get input again, and it will update in response. And then so you would say then like what's the thing that you're updating? Well, when you had the console output, you were updating the. You weren't really even updating something. You were like spewing characters out that would get put there on the screen. Here, you get your input, and it doesn't come like from the console anymore. It comes from the keyboard, whatever, and you change the position of an object in the game world. So in my case, I've got I won't switch back to it right away. There's a little player. I get the input for an up key from here, and I go into this function to update things. I'll show you what that looks like. Right, I got like some commands that I check over, and like one of them is walk, and then I have like some code which goes and says, well, for pressing that command key, this player piece should get moved up on the screen a little bit if you push the up key. So that's the gist of it. And that's the concept. The easiest way to kind of make that leap, you could pick an environment like Unity, and you could say, you could Google Unity Hello World, for example, and you just kind of, or Unity starting tutorial, and it would go through the steps of like what you need to do to set up a scene. Like the one that a lot of people do is one where you can play this game of Pong with a paddle. That one, like if you just follow like the steps in the tutorial, it'll tell you like how to set up the scene and how to write the code that would update the paddles from the input. I think that's what I would do. If you wanted to make games, I would start with Unity, I'd grab one of these tutorials and just walk through the steps. Like, you don't even have to understand each of the steps as you go. Like, you'll get it after you go through it a little bit, I think. Like they give you like each step that you have to do. So I think that's what I would do if I was starting out and I wanted to make games. Sorry, this is the nature of this stream, is that I might blab for several minutes at you, and you could be just sitting there thinking like that's all complete nonsense, or you could have like walked off to the refrigerator to get yourself a snack and I'm just sitting here talking. So I don't know if any of that serves you or not, or if that raises more questions. But yeah, chat some more if you had any other questions or anything. I'm glad. But it's a fun time being where you're at. Like, you're just starting something new there. So I hope you enjoy that. Yeah, you bet, man. All right. So what is the deal with this? Why? It's got to be something really simple. I think I must have just missed something really, really easy. Okay, let's hit play again. Okay, yeah, okay, I didn't crash in there. I'm going to be crashing inside of this find and add pieces pretty much. I predict that. So let's see. Did it crash? I think that was it. I think that was where it crashed. No, it didn't. That wasn't it. There is it that? Is it, did I remove the water from the level? It crashed on that? No. That's not it. So if it's not the board loader, which is usually the problem, so my start is succeeding. So come back to the update. Oh, it's not good to add new lines of code when you're right in the middle of debugging. That just puts everything in the wrong position. So let me hit play. Did I get to update? Yeah, I did. Okay. So all that seems fine. What the heck was going on? I want to know. So it's going to keep calling update. Okay, so that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Huh. Did I get my exception there? Yeah. This is not like the best. So, are you failing in here? Is that what's going on? Because that would be really weird. Yeah, I don't like this. This looks like a bad build or something along those lines. Because I just saw the execution hop around a totally unexpected place. So I don't think I'm seeing things right here. So I just did a clean all, rebuild all. I just want to see my new creation walking around just like the unit tests say it should, not getting pushed around just like the unit test said, and whatever this anomalous problem is that arose, I want it to go away, because I don't think I deserve it. I think I don't deserve it. I think I've been a good programmer. I think I deserve better. Especially when Unity and my IDE are crashing on me at least once every session. I feel like if we're going to point fingers at who's to blame for this situation I'm in right now, I feel like I could be pointing them at Unity. Because it crashed on me just a little while ago. Maybe it left some file in a half-written state. No, I get to move one time, it says. I get to move one time and then it stop. So something's off. Something is off. I had this working before. I had it working before. It worked like a champ. What the heck? Alright, so let's run the debugger again. Let's run it again. The problem with early success is it sets you up to feel like you should keep succeeding just as easily. And that's what I had. I had an early success. I was going to take an entire 2 hours to write this enemy, and then bam, I was like done in 40 minutes. And that gave me a sense of entitlement. Like I felt like all things in the universe should happen easily for me. And that might be my problem. I just have a sense of entitlement. Everything should be easy, when in fact it should be hard. Or maybe it should average out, and this is the averaging out right here. Okay, so I think in the previous run, something weird happened here, so I'm going to step in, even though it's the most trivial access method. See, why did execution jump all the way to here? This is just very odd. I already did a clean build and rebuild. I know one thing I didn't do. I didn't exit out of this. Let me do that. 'Cause I'm starting to doubt my tools at the moment. When I'm in the debugger and the execution line jumps to someplace that's totally unrelated, but it's not like part of a exception throw, that makes me think I'm not seeing reality, or something in the build process has gone awry. This was also preceded by a Unity crash, which might have left some garbage of some sort behind. I don't know. That shouldn't be an issue, because I did a clear out. I cleared out all the build files. But let me just restart the IDE. It seems like a good idea with everything I've seen, and see if I'm in a better place after that. I feel like I deserve better treatment here. Let's see. So let's build all. Another thing I might do is take out all that lead motion stuff I copied into here, because that is something new that's changed too, and I didn't really want all that stuff in my project anyways. I really didn't. It'd be smart to pull it out. Okay, hit play. So I get one move. Do I get two moves? Again. What to make of that? What to make of that? Okay. Well, let me yank the leap motion stuff. I mean, there are some errors here that I should be digging into. There is that. I do need to reconcile what I'm seeing with reality. I can't be too shotgun about this, because like, basically there's two stages to solving problems. One is like your shotgun approaches, which are good for just trying things really quick and seeing if they resolve the problem. And the other one is you dig in deep and you start analyzing things, and you just deduce. You deduce what must be the cause of the problem. No trial and error. You start out with a trial and error shotgun thing, and then you narrow it down. So let us remove, just for good housekeeping, if no other reason, the leap assets. I'll leave the realistic hands. No, I'll take those out too. I can add them back in. Let's move those out. And I will actually, so here I'll create a new folder called inactive assets. And we'll rename this to leap motion assets original, because this is before the import, before Unity did all the things it thought were necessary to make those assets run. It didn't. Okay. And then this will be the Unity modified version that I can drop back in later and not have to have Unity repeat all of the changes it made for compatibility. So I'll just copy those there. And did I remove them from? Yes, I did. Okay, so those are removed. There's probably some other junk I should take out of there, but that's fine for now. So now if I clean and rebuild everything again, clean all. I think rebuild all and clean all. I think rebuild all includes a clean all, but I'm being a little bit superstitious. At least clean all with a build all should be the same thing as rebuild all. Maybe in the future I'll be less superstitious and know what I'm doing. Okay. Back to those 24 warnings. Hit play. Okay, I still have the same issue, and also I noticed that these guys are not moving on the turn where their moves should be calculated. So it looks like I feel like I'm missing something kind of fundamental. Yeah, I am. God damn it, my half-ass programming. So I should not be checking this piece if it's null. Duh. God damn it. Now I just feel embarrassed. That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. I get distracted when I'm streaming. That's my excuse. That's my excuse. Okay. So that is at least correcting a bug. That doesn't necessarily fix the mysterious anomaly. Okay, now things are acting as expected. I'm back to my baseline. I'm back to normal. Okay, that's good. So I'm pushing up against the heavy, and that's another thing I liked. So when I push south against the heavy, my turn's canceled. I'm not able to do anything against that heavy. And also the thing I liked is that I saw the brawler push a block and it stopped on the heavy, which is fantastic. Everything's working as expected. Now I expect when I continue east, the heavy is going to push against the blocks and he's going to destroy one of them. Perfect. I expect as I move east again, another block will be destroyed, and that S block will pop up on the block pad as the brawler to the west clears it. Two of them. That makes sense, because basically two were destroyed. They were queuing up. Okay. This is looking beautiful. Now I expect if I go back west, the heavy will push the block west. It will knock both the brawler and the bottommost S block all the way to the west wall. Perfect. Oh, I love it. I love it. It looks butt ugly. I understand that. It's really hard for people to see what's going on. And the physics of the game are really weird in the first place, but combined with the unpolished aesthetics, it can be tough to understand what you're saying. But I did it with time to spare. I coded a new enemy in less than 2 hours. I had given myself 2 hours. It was an hour and a half. And that was even spending some time to just give advice to people about like things they might want to do with their lives, or at least their programming lives, or their IT lives. I'm not so pretentious as to give general life advice to strangers. Maybe I am, but I didn't to those strangers. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. Yeah, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna stop the stream because I like having this done at this point, and also like I think I ought to do some laundry. I gotta do a little bit of laundry with my limited time in the evening. Laundry and then a quick dinner. That'll be it for my day. Alright, if you watch this, I hope you enjoy it. And feel free to come back. Monday through Thursday, I am typically here around 6. If you happen to watch this not live, and you want to be here live, and you want to talk, or just lurk and see what's going on right when it's actually happening, Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. PST is usually about when I start. And there's another thing that I do on Sundays, but I won't go into that right now because this particular upcoming Sunday I will not be doing it. So that would be like false advertising or something, or dashing people's hopes. So yeah, this has been my game. This has been my stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to join me again later. Bye now.